Hello, welcome back to our mini-series, lecture series, Jump the Gap, Why We All Need a Sustainability Mindset, episode 6. And finally, in this episode 6, we will talk about the sustainability mindset. Okay, let's better get on to it. So, in this section, we want to talk about the sustainability mindset and why we have to talk about it in the first place. What is it, and why do we need to change it, and what has this to do with all the big problems we have discussed in the earlier episodes? So what is a sustainability mindset? Yeah. So right now you will see everywhere green is a trend. Yeah. We talk about a green economy, a green revolution, green businesses, a green behavior of individuals. So this is really a trendy term, but sustainability is a mindset. And we are not there yet as a global society or as most of the individuals. And I want to quickly discuss with you why this is really important. And this is where your personal action is playing an important role. So let's have a look. Yeah? A mindset is a worldview. Yeah? These are the paradigms, these are the rules we see the world around us. And many of these rules are not even obvious or present to us all the time. They are ingrained in us, and this is why it's so difficult to challenge them. Yeah. So we need to change our worldview. So right now, if you look here, this is a very common worldview where humans are at the top of the evolution. Yeah, and all other living beings is in this pyramid structure somewhere below us. So this is a very egocentric worldview. In particular, in the last centuries, this is how individuals, nations have seen the world and acted upon. But what is if you see the world very differently? Yeah, like you see now here to the right, yeah, where there is no hierarchy in there. There is only a community of living beings that are strongly interconnected, interrelated, and interdependent. Yeah? This would be an ecological worldview. And this is describing much better how ecology works, how ecosystems are working, how the planet is working. So we need to change our worldview from an egocentric to an ecocentric worldview. So one element how we discuss right now the biodiversity, sustainability, and climate crisis is by looking on our impacts, on human impacts. Yeah, and this discussion is really misleading. First of all, yeah, there are 25% of humanity that has most of the impacts, and the others don't. Yeah, there are large groups in society around the world that are living sustainably, or that are interacting or that are acting already on sustainable lifestyles. We have to differentiate this. Yeah? But the most damaging element of this discussion is that we are only looking at how humans can be less damaging. Yeah? So how we can pull back from nature out of the area to leave nature on their own. How we can just reduce our consumption, our waste. How can we recycle more? Yeah? How can we travel less? These are all steps backward where we try to minimize our negative impact. Yeah? But this does not mean that by minimizing our negative impacts, we are developing in a more sustainable individual or more sustainable society. Yeah? Such actions make you only less unsustainable and harmful or reduce the amount of harm done. This is still very different from making a positive impact. Yeah? And this is what we need to do. We need to make positive impacts. So, for example, if you talk about a carbon footprint, yeah, it's a very important element to talk about. I fully agree. But again, we just try to reduce our negative impact. Interestingly, the carbon footprint was an invention of a PR company for BP decades ago to find a measure to distribute the negative impact of fossil fuels on everyone in the same way and take away from their requirements to act as a company on big scale. So this is an element we need to consider. I don't want to minimize the need to reduce our negative carbon footprint, but this is not making a positive impact. The same with ecological footprint, reducing your waste, recycling. These are all reducing your damaging impact. And the discussion is always shaped that the responsibility is pushed to you as an individual. You have to do this. You have to change your lifestyle. You are the baddie. And of course we have to reflect on our lifestyle. But it's taking away also the responsibility of businesses, of companies, of governments to put political change into place. So therefore I don't really like this narrative of negative footprints everywhere. I'm a fan of positive footprints. We want to have a positive impact on communities, on ourselves, on society, on nature. So let's talk about positive footprints. Why not have a very big positive ecological footprint? Why not have a very big positive carbon footprint? And where we consider just where we go, we make with our traces a positive impact on communities, on ecology, on the environment, on the society. So wherever you live, you have made a small positive contribution. And this is the way we need to phrase the discussion. How can we be empowered to make positive contributions? And this needs to be at the core of our worldview. So a big carbon footprint, for example, would be to regenerate ecosystems and nature to a point it can draw down carbon dioxide and put it into the soil. And you can do this on your balcony, you can do this in your garden, or you can do this in your community park, or you can do this in restoration projects. Everything what you do would have a positive footprint. So just defining this a little bit, worldview is a mindset. And changing the mindset is the most powerful way to change behaviors. Because many of the underlying assumptions are not being challenged, and if you don't challenge them, you cannot really make dramatic change. So this is a point where right now most of our global challenges and the discussion around is being phrased in a way putting attention to external forces and external impacts, and we have to respond to. No, this is not true. We have to change our mindset, our internal sets of beliefs, assumptions, values, mental processes and paradigms to make a difference. And if we don't change them, we can't be effective. So first step forward is we need to transform our mindsets towards sustainability. And everything we have discussed before is really, really very helpful. And I believe this diagram on top here is really showing what we need to achieve. In the first level, we need to change our knowing. What do we know? So this is ecoliteracy, and I will come back to this in a particular moment. And then, if we have this knowledge, we have to start to think in terms of this knowledge, and think holistically in bigger pictures. And if we can reflect on this, then we can change our behavior. So then we come to being. Then our being is driven by values and purposes based on sustainability. So knowing, thinking, feeling, doing, this is a succession that a sustainable mindset will empower you to do. And this is a transformation that every individual has to do, every community has to do, every nation has to do to move forward unisono. And this is a simplistic view of the mindset. If you look a little bit more in detail on sustainable mindset, you see there's 4 different elements that are supporting a mindset. So this is the ecological worldview. This is about knowing, yeah, and eco-literacy, but also knowing what your contributions are, yeah, and as part of this worldview. Then there is a systems perspective, and this is being really quite nicely captured by the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Yeah, so this is long-term thinking, not only the next 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. You have to think in terms of generations. You have to think into cycles. So how can you cycle elements and flows? Then you have to think in both ends. So you have to resolve controversies between different elements, because both sides of the controversy can have value in this, and you have to consider interconnectedness of everything what we are doing and all the problems. So this would be the system perspective. And this is a little bit more the external elements that are shaping our mindset and our values. But then we come to the more individual ones, as emotional intelligence and spiritual intelligence. By spiritual, I don't mean religious in this particular point. So emotional intelligence will include creative innovation, and humans are incredibly creative. Reflections, so you do something and you look on the outcome and you reflect on the outcome, and you change or continue with your behavior accordingly. And also self-awareness. You must be able to reflect on what is your role in particular communities, particular actions, particular ecosystems. And then the spiritual intelligence, this is a more personal part of your worldview. Where do you see your purpose? Yeah, where do you see your connection and oneness with nature? And are you mindful in the place where you are? And can you let the place act on you? And you can reflect on this. So this is a more theoretically abstract view of the sustainability mindset, and we have to tackle all of these 12 boxes and 4 sectors for the proper transformation. And I guess this is a big task for us to achieve personally in our transition as we are moving forward in the next couple of decades. So let's dive quickly into this a little bit in different areas. So first of all, we need to accept a couple of basic beliefs for our sustainability mindset. So we need to accept that ecological and climate change crisis and climate change is real and is caused by humans. So this is really adamant, because then we can change our behavior. We also need to accept that urgent action is required to really make a big difference. And we have heard this now in the media from the last IPCC report, that we really have only to 2030 to make big changes to be on the right path. But we can do it. Yeah? And we have to accept that we have to take individually and collective responsibility for solving the problem. This does not mean that every individual has to do the same share, but every individual has to accept that they can and must provide a contribution on the level of their possibility. And also we need to accept that beliefs are stronger than facts. Yeah. So I'm a scientist. You can convince me with facts in most cases, but beliefs are stronger. So you need to have a proper story to put forward, to engage people, to show them the way forward. And you need to understand that beliefs can only change very, very gradually in a supporting context. Yeah, but we know that tackling the ecological crisis is possible. Example, the Loess Plateau I've shown you, where millions of people made a positive change and lifted themselves out of poverty, restoring an area the size of Belgium within 20 years. Yeah, and we need to understand that this is not always easy, but it's deeply rewarding. So every step forward on this journey is a very positive step forward and will improve our life and will improve our well-being, our mental health, and it not only will improve you, but it will improve your community and hopefully nature as well. So this is something very powerful to transform how we see the world. Yeah. So a sustainable mindset is accepting that as individual, communities or organizations, we are an integral part of nature, and we need to live intentionally in a way that regenerates and restores and supports an abundant nature and thriving communities. So not only minimizing your negatives in this big equation. So it must be an objective at your heart of decision making. We all need to reconnect with nature in the best ways possible for the individuals. We must focus on the positives and not the negatives. Yeah, and we should not wait for others. Yeah, be part of the change. Yeah, move forward, and most importantly, have fun and enjoy being on this path, making a positive contribution, reconnect with nature, and celebrate your successes in your community. So, if we do this, we will be on a really, really good trajectory to solve quite a lot of our major global and societal challenges. Yeah? On this way, we need to understand that there are some elements embedded in our minds that are always trying to restrict this. These are the 4 R's: recognition and reward, responsibility and relativity. And knowing these holdbacks is really important, so if you see them, that you can challenge them. So recognition and reward is really driving how we interact in a community and how we are being seen in a community. And our current model is really based on quantitative consumption. Yeah, your recognition is being given in a monetary reward. And this monetary reward, then you put into consumption to improve your well-being, and off you go around this way. But this is a very extractive, linear economic model we need to overcome. So why not using a different model of recognition and reward, like here to the right? It is more a qualitative model, yeah, where your recognition is your social impact, and the recognition you receive in your community, and this reward is then being coined in social value. So where is your place in this community, and how you are being seen in this community, and being acknowledged by the community as a positive community member is your recognition, and you have a very different cycle of recognition and reward. So we are still quite a lot away of this, because you see in the center I collected the top 10 Instagram accounts people are following globally for 2022, and you see there Cristiano Ronaldo, Kylie Jenner, Lionel Messi, Dwayne Johnson, and lots of others, and these are right now still people that are being followed by millions of people. There is no Greta Thunberg there, or David Attenborough, or John DeLue, or any other person. So we are a little bit far away right now from having completely transformed our mindset, so there is still a way to go. Yeah. So, and then another R is relativity. So this is essentially the life is not fair excuse. Yeah. We are tending to the point where when we are asked to do something, then we point to others and say, hey, what are they doing? Yeah. And we say, okay, when they are doing something, I will do something. So this is not acceptable. Yeah. This is just a way of making the effort equitable, and it doesn't work. So you have to accept that you have to take action now whenever you have the possibility to do action. Don't wait. Don't look for equity before starting. Time is critical. So this is not an excuse. And responsibility. And I feel strong about responsibility. So responsibility is a state of fact of having a duty to deal with something. This is exactly what John DeLue was saying in his Green Gold documentary. If we know we can do large-scale ecosystem restoration and it works, it's our responsibility to do so. So by knowing you can do something that is important, yeah, you automatically have the responsibility to do so if you can. So this is making your mindset physically in a way that you change it intentionally into doing something. So key is to accept the responsibility personally, yeah. And it's not saving about of the planet, but it's about saving us and weaving ourselves back into the fabric of nature, yeah. And this is a long journey, so break it down and take responsibility for what you can affect, not for the big problems you cannot make an immediate impact. So this means act locally but think globally, yeah. So reflect what is the impact of what you are doing also globally, but try to affect really your community and the place where you are, yeah. And always strive for collective commitments and personal journeys. So make your own journey, but try to engage with your community around you and try to move forward as a community, yeah. And this is really at the heart of a sustainability mindset. So I hope this gives you a little bit an idea of why we have to change really our mindset, our worldview and our values to move forward, but it also empowers you individually to go on the path of regeneration into the future, and it will connect you with your community and will connect you with nature in your place, and it will really be very rewarding and empowering, and you will enjoy every step on this journey. So this is great news. Thank you very much for staying with me on the mindset episode 6. We will finish with episode 7 in a short moment. I'm looking forward to see you again then. Thank you.